Hello, I'm Ed O'Keefe in Washington, in for Major Garrett, who's still out somewhere on a baseball field. He'll be back tomorrow, don't worry. But welcome to The Takeout. If there's one thing this reporter's learned in his handful of years covering the White House, it's that you can measure the importance of a meeting, or how much the White House wants you to know about it, based on which way the invited guest gets into the building. Your world leader and close ally, or one of those dignitaries the president really likes, you're likely getting an arrival like this. Full military honors, the bands, and maybe even, yes, a flyover. Look at that. That was for the Saudi Crown Prince. If you're a leader who the president respects, from a country the U.S. has to do business with, or maybe one of those leaders who visits quite often, well, you get to do this. They line up service members along the driveway. They are holding flags of the various U.S. states. Your black car rolls right up to the front door of the West Wing. But just about everyone else goes in through one of the side doors. There's one right there on 17th Street, the southwestern corner of the White House complex, where reporters rarely go. And that's where María Corina Machado arrived today, whisked through security with no fanfare. To be fair, she's not a head of state or head of any major international body, but she is the leader of an opposition movement that decisively won an election 2 years ago that Nicolas Maduro ignored. President Trump is skeptical Machado can lead Venezuela's military, control its vast oil supply, and rally public society to help rebuild the country. So for now, she was snuck in through the side entrance. Her goal is to one day be invited in through the front door, with the bands playing in her honor. For more on Lunch with María Corina Machado, we begin at the White House with our Weijia Jiang. Weijia, good to see you. Happy Thursday. What do we know now about how lunch went?
Well, Ed, we know one thing that I was just able to confirm a short time ago from White House officials, because, of course, María Corina Machado is not just the opposition leader in Venezuela. She is the most recent recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And I am told that during this lunch, she presented the real medallion to President Trump and gave it to him. Of course, this is an award that he has long wanted. And apparently, even before this, she mentioned that she was going to give it over to him. And that's exactly what happened. But, it's interesting because even before we learned anything about what happened during this meeting, Ed, the Nobel Peace Center sent out a post on social media to say that the medal can change owners, but the title of a Nobel Peace Prize laureate cannot. In terms of what they talked about, where do you even begin, right? Because there is so much to say with regard to the future of Venezuela. And it might have been a little bit awkward because President Trump said early on, after capturing Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, of course, earlier this month, that he didn't think Machado had the chops to lead Venezuela. He said she lacked the respect and the support of people who live there. So I asked the White House press secretary today if that remains the case. Here's what she said.
Is it still the president's assessment that it would be very hard for Ms. Machado to leave Venezuela because he says she lacks the respect and support in that country? And will he raise that with her today?
I think the president's assessment that you just pointed out was based on realities on the ground. It was a realistic assessment based on what the president was reading and hearing from his advisors and national security team. And at this moment in time, his opinion on that matter has not changed.
He has also said that he would like there to be elections in Venezuela when the time is right. That's right. Do you have any update on when that might be? And is he committed to a transition to democracy for Venezuela?
Yes, and he is also committed to hopefully seeing elections in Venezuela one day, but I don't have an updated timetable for you today.
Of course, President Trump has said many times that the U.S. would be running the country, or is running the country, Ed.
Do we have any sense, Weij, if the conversations he had with the interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, last night, the lunch today with Machado, changes his view that Rodriguez is still the best person? I mean, we know, certainly you and I know from covering him on a regular basis, that he's often most influenced by the last person he talked to. Is there any indication yet that his views on all this have changed?
I think it'll take much more than a lunch, Ed, for him to change his views, because just yesterday he said that Rodriguez is a terrific person. indicating that they are working well together and that, frankly, she is on board with the president's plans, which at the center are his plans to control and rebuild Venezuela's oil reserves. In fact, just yesterday, the White House announced the first sale of sanctioned oil that is now in the hands of the U.S. We don't know who it was sold to. We don't know how the profits are going to be distributed. But this is all part of his plan to make some extra money for Venezuela, but also for the U.S. And so as long as Rodriguez is on board with that, and it appears she is, in the interim, it seems like he is happy with her. Of course, that question that I asked Caroline, when there might be elections, that's what really matters in terms of the future for Venezuela and whether a democracy will ever actually exist there. But before I say bye, I also have to say, Ed, that I love your blazer tonight.
Oh, well, thank you. I had no idea you'd be wearing the same shade, but hey. On Thursdays, apparently, we wear burgundy. Weijia Jiang over at the White House. Good to see you. Thank you for that.